Hey everybody, what's going on? David Kurz here with Confessions of a Real Estate Agent with a special edition, Confessions of a Lender, with Vince Lopez in the house. Stay tuned, guys. Follow up. All right, welcome everybody to Confessions of a Real Estate Agent. Today we're going to have some fun. We're actually going to speak to Vince. Vince is the branch manager of multiple PRMG locations here in South Florida. And PRMG is Primary Residential Mortgage Group, right? And so he's our preferred lender. And I wanted to take this opportunity to talk to him and kind of dig into the lender world, because those of you that have watched us before and have listened to our Confessions of a Real Estate Agent, you hear about our agents talking about real life scenarios of things that actually happen in real life, not the crap that you see on TV. But today I want to talk to the lender, because the lender, his client is actually the real estate agent. So believe it or not, as the real estate agent is going through all this craziness with a client, Vince and his team have to deal with the realtor's backlash throughout this whole thing, right? Absolutely. So we want to talk about it. So first of all, tell everybody like your locations, how many people are in your offices, kind of like your business setup, your setup at the company.
Awesome. Thank you. First of all, thank you for inviting me to this show. Real quick, my name is Vince Lopez. As David mentioned, I'm a non-producing branch manager. I have 2 locations, one in the Bird Road, Kendall area, if you're familiar with that. And also, we have a location, our newest location in Miramar, Florida, by the Pembroke Pines area. So we're really excited about that location. But as far as that setup, we have probably upwards into 17, 18 loan originators. We also have an operations manager. We have our own underwriter, our own closer. We have our own file opener, if you're familiar with what that person does, which is the person that does all the ordering of the title, appraisals, and all that good stuff. We also have administrative assistant, business development, a full team in order to service you better, basically.
So that's awesome. Now, there are preferred lenders here at Kurz Real Estate, and for a reason, because they have so much in-house that it allows me to be able to connect with one person who might have better control of my file. And so that's an amazing situation. Now, I've worked, let me get into my confessions, right? Right. I've worked with other real estate companies that may, real estate companies, but lender companies or mortgage companies who don't have that same type of similar control. And man, it's been a nightmare, dude. And no pun to big banks, but God, no, man. That's just like the most frustrating thing in the world for me to hear from a potential buyer is, I've been approved by blah, 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 whatever big bank you are. And I'm sorry, big banks, it's just, and I quiver. Like, I'm like, oh no, that means that they're going to take your application here in Miami, Florida, appraisal's going to get ordered in Texas, and your file's going to move to California for closing, and so forth. And it makes me shake.
Yeah, it makes me shake as well.
So to have all that in-house means it's a big thing, you know?
Absolutely.
So lesson to you realtors out there paying attention right now, whether it's Vince in his PRMG office or another office out there locally for you, wherever you may be listening, choose somebody who has everything available for you in-house, one shot, one kill, right? Now, let's talk some stories.
Well, real quick before I forget,
go.
Since you brought that up. Because I do run into those agents that say, no, I'll let my buyers choose what they want. And that drives me a little bit. What is that? So you're telling me you're representing the seller and you get an offer from one of these major banks. You don't know who the guy is. You don't know how sturdy that approval is.
And by the way, you're representing the seller, and the guy representing the buyer, the realtor, doesn't know them either. So how are you supposed to feel all warm and comfortable inside about this deal?
Exactly. So how do you put your trust on that pre-approval? And all we're saying is, hey, you can't force anyone to do business with anyone. That's not the right thing. But hey, go get pre-approved.
Give some guidance.
That way you know that this is a solid pre-approval. You can even say you don't have to use them, but get them pre-approved so you know that, hey, seller, this is a good offer because my guy,
my guy approved it.
Or if you're working with a buyer, why would you want to, drive around, showing houses, doing all this work without knowing it's a solid pre-approval? It just makes no sense. I'm sorry. It just doesn't make no sense.
110%. So I'm glad you brought that up. Now, let's go into the nitty-gritty, right? All right. So, craziest realtor you've ever had to deal with. Go.
All right. So, sometimes we end up with these realtors that, they're still like back in the day where their concept of getting things done is yelling and screaming, right? So no names whatsoever, but
no, this is not to put anybody down.
Put anybody down.
Experience-based confessions, all right?
But it's just we're in 2017. I mean, this has been a better way for quite some time now.
Yeah.
But some agents believe that the only way to get something done is by calling, yelling, and screaming, top of their lungs, all the time for every little thing. Just nothing. And when the complaint gets to me, I mean, it's gone through my administrative, it went through the LO, it went through the operation, and now it's in my hands, right?
Yeah.
Complaint gets to me, and I'm trying to figure out, because I'm the type of person to take 2 steps back to see if there's something legitimate to complain about, and we started looking at the file, because I like to dissect the file, what's been going on with this file. We had issues as far as the lender, but appraisals came in short, so there was some negotiation going on there. Okay. We had a situation where the title wasn't approved through the MAP program. So, again, something that was totally out of control. But when you look at the scope of the whole thing, the timeline could not have been better. And I was asking, what's going on? And, of course, that realtor just had the mindset, like he didn't even have a legitimate answer. It was just basically his thought process was, I'm going to yell because that's the way I know I get things
I'm going to yell because I'm getting yelled at.
Yeah.
Because everything's not going well and it's not perfectly in order, so
right, and things
you're going to get the brunt of it.
And the funny thing is that doing a loan is almost like flying an airplane. You're going to have some turbulence if that's possible, but the more important thing that we get there safe, and that's the way I look at it.
It's funny because you say doing a loan, so as realtors we have purchases in cash and we have purchases with mortgages.
Right.
But no matter what it is, every one of them is their own animal, with their own heartbeat, with their own path, and every one of them has hiccups.
Right.
Like you say, you call it turbulence, I call it hiccups, every one of them.
Well, think about it this way. We're kind of like in the middle of everything, the way I look at it. The issue with the appraisal, our fault. Issue with title company, our fault. Issue with anything that's going on, it's like we're the one in the middle of everything. Yeah. And we're the ones that the communication help me. We got to communicate everything that's going on. But the point is that we always come back and find a solution. Nice. Every deal that should get done will get done, is what I say. And it's better to have calm heads looking for the solution than to be yelling and screaming. It just, to me, doesn't make sense. On top of that, those are the crazy realtors. They're just hot-headed and they feel like yelling and screaming. And I've dealt with them. Sometimes I need to fire them. Sometimes, they get way out of control, where the condition from the underwriter is a legitimate condition. Can we agree that this is a legitimate condition? And all of a sudden they think magically you can just wipe it away. And let me just yell.
It's 2005 all over.
And I always tell them the same thing. I'm here to help the solution. Do you want my help? Or do you want to keep ranting and raving and talking about attorneys and things, all this other stuff? I'm here to help. Well, sir, I'm here to help you. You understand I'm on your side. I'm here to help you. You don't want to listen, then go ahead and go about your business. But if you want my help, I can get it done. So those are the kind of things that sometimes you got to, and we do as lender, we do have some powers sometimes that we can make exceptions. But trust me, if you're yelling and screaming at me, it's kind of hard for me. It's kind of hard for me to want to put my neck out there and make that exception for you. And then you have those agents that, and again, it maybe they're newer agents, they just don't know the contracts, they don't know how to protect their clients, and sometimes we got to show them, and we wonder, like, how did they get the license in the first place? True fact, I don't know if you're aware of this, or may have heard, like 2016 was the first time that the independents brokerage outperformed the franchise.
Yes, that's right.
So you actually did more transactions. So I give it to those agents that are out there that are recognizing independent brokers like Kurz Real Estate, where they provide the training, and they are looking out for their agents' best interest and helping them succeed and grow. Because most of these franchises, not only you got to deal with all these fees and all these nickel and diming, all these things that they do, but their claim to fame is that, hey, we train you, and then you have the independents that are even doing better now. So my hats to you, Kurz, because I know you have Coaching and everything today, your training me, everything you're doing for your agents is commendable. So,
Thank you. I appreciate that. So let me ask you this. What's the biggest gap that you find between the realtor and the lender? What's the gap that if you could diminish this gap, all transactions would go so much smoother?
It comes down to the what I call the CG21, the communication, the generosity, and closing in 21 days. The biggest gap, I would tell you, is communication. When I talk to
I'm glad
agents,
you said that.
yeah, when I talk to agents, they always complain about communication. And for every agent is different. The funny thing is that some agents like the phone, don't like the text, like the email, some email. So you got to kind of figure that out.
And some agents don't want to know anything until they need to know.
Yeah,
something.
don't bother me.
Don't
I'm really
me.
busy.
Hey, listen,
right.
You're working with my client.
So,
don't involve me unless I need to know what's going on.
So figuring that out, figuring out the agents, this is your expectation, and me going above that. And also the agent needs to know I'm doing everything I can. That's the generosity. No one should be able to say that's not my job.
Yeah,
everything is my job.
Of course.
You know, customer service is my job if it falls on there. And of course, you got to close on time, because I don't care how nice you are. If you're not closing on time, or the majority of things that are in your control should close on time.
What can agents do to better work with their lenders? Like, what's one thing, top thing, that an agent can keep in their mind when they refer a client to their lender?
When they refer their client to the lender, is knowing that that lender has that client's best interest. Are they customer service oriented, things like that. But if I were to give an advice to an agent, I said, when you look for a lender, what exactly you should be looking for? You should be looking for a lender that's accountable.
Okay.
Okay. Not just closing deals, you know, and things like that, because we're living in an age that a deal that should get done will get done. But you want to look for a lender that's accountable. Why? Because I don't care, you know, how long you've been in the business. You made some mistake, and you're going to continue making mistakes. It happens. In the real estate side, and in, you know, in the lending side, whether it was your processor, whether it was somebody, it's bound to happen. But the question is your lender accountable? Will they, you know, raise their hand and say, okay, hey, we screwed up here. What we're going to do, we have a solution. We'll get an extension. I'll pay the per diem if I have to. I'll guarantee the deposit if I have to.
I hate dealing
I'll
with
call the
people
seller
who do not hold themselves accountable.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Right?
But that's what you want. You want someone accountable.
Yeah, exactly.
You're dealing with a you know, really tough seller. Let me call him for you. Let me explain the situation. You know, so accountability is a key thing. And when you have that, trust me, as an agent, you feel like you're on top of the world, because you have that confidence that your lender has the same interest that you have.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this guy right here, mindset guru. All right, so give one piece of advice to our listeners right now on the appropriate mindset they should have. And this is completely off topic, but since I have him here, I might as well do it, right? The number one piece of advice that you can give for a real estate agent or a mortgage professional to have in their mindset when being in this business.
All right, so.
Because in my opinion, this is one of the toughest businesses.
Yeah, toughest business, but so rewarding. And I met you a few months ago, right?
Yep.
And we kind of connected, and what I found in common that is our drive, right?
Yep.
And our drive necessarily is not money, you know. And David's looking at me like, what? I thought, no, we know it's not money.
What?
Because if it was money, David, you'll be out there selling houses. I'll be out there doing loans, okay? So we decided to be the non-producing as to give, because our drives comes from, you know, giving back, helping that agent, helping that loan officer.
Doing what this video is for.
Doing that video, so exactly. That if they take away something, and we see how it changed their lives, like, you know, nicer houses, better gifts, more vacation. We're not even looking for credit, but we see them on Facebook taking vacation. We're like really happy about that.
It feels good.
It feels good. So that's what drives us. So mindset's such a big thing. When we did the Mindset Summit, we did that together. You know, your topic was more like take action.
Make things happen.
Which makes it happen. And I was more in my topic was what's stopping you from taking action, you know, and it's the fear. So when you know, if you ask me for one tip of advice, because, you know, to sum it up, you know, those of you that missed the mindset, Dave is absolutely right. He's telling you there's a pot of gold over here, there's $1 million, you know, over this hill. You just got to run and go get it. And there's people that are going to do that. They're going to take that action.
Get up and go.
They're going to go.
Other people are going to think about the path along the way.
Think about that. Is there really?
Scare them.
I got a cramp.
And put fear to their hearts, and
right.
then they go, well, no, I don't know if I can do that. So yeah, pot of gold looks nice, but there's alligators on the way.
There's alligators in the way.
You know?
So my thing is always, you know, find something you're more afraid of. Be more afraid that if you don't run, you're not going to be able to pay your rent. You're not going to be able to.
There's nothing.
So find something fair. So my analogy would be.
It's the age-old saying. You either run across the dangerous field and pick up the pot of gold, or you die. Which one do you choose?
Right. So
right?
Thank you for bringing that up, because my analogy in that would be like, so pretend I got a flamethrower behind you. Are you going to run faster to that pot of gold? And if you're going to run away, might as well run to that pot of gold. You're going to run a lot much faster and get that money, because you're going to have to deal with some of the third-degree burns. But think of it that way, where find something even more fearful that makes you run towards that goal.
To be honest with you, I like pot of golds. So I'm going to go for it.
There you go.
I'm not going to think too
that would be my
twice
advice. Understand that your brain is already programmed that the things you fear is going to stop you. It's your mechanism to keep you healthy and safe. But the only way you can really overcome that is find something you're even more afraid of.
Absolutely. Okay? All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being a part of this.
Inviting me. Appreciate it.
So again, special edition of Confessions of a Real Estate Agent. This one is Confessions of a Mortgage Lender. I hope that you guys take away something from this each and every time that we do it. We do this for you so that you can walk away with maybe real life experiences that our professionals are going through, and so that you know you're not alone and maybe how to deal with them. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next one. See you soon.